Hello, beautiful LCPs and legs. How are you? So welcome to another LCP University session. And this time is about time management, which is something super useful for you. And it's something that sometimes it's hard for us to manage when we are ISECers, especially when we have an LCP role. So don't worry. And I hope this can be useful for you. So I'm Flor, MCPP, CX, ICX, and I will be delivering this session. And what are the objectives of this space? Actually understand how you can manage your time in a more efficient way and tools to be more productive. So the idea is that you can actually learn some tips and tricks, some tools and some things for you to manage yourself better and all the activities that you need to do and actually be more efficient. But there's a disclaimer here because there is no magic secret or something that will change your life forever. So don't expect that in this session, but actually some tools that will help you, and maybe you can listen to something new or something that you haven't thought about before or you didn't realize. So I hope you're ready. And first thing first, I want to ask you if for you being busy all the time means you're working hard and you're actually achieving your goals. Because a lot of times we, especially when we're in ISEC, we feel ourselves all the time having things to do and tasks to do and spending a lot of time in things. But are we actually being productive and are we actually like working hard? Because sometimes we are not being actually effective, but we feel that we're busy all the time. And this is about productivity. So productivity is exactly like knowing where you have to put your efforts in order to get the biggest amount of results and also have time for everything that you want in your life and don't feel like you're stressing and that you don't have time for everything and falling apart. So productivity for me, it's reduces to the 3 P's by Florba, which is something I invented. But it's super useful and it's actually plan, prioritize, and put in action. And these are things we always listen in ISEC, but the key is how we are actually implementing this and shaping it in our actual style of work and the way we work and we get results more productively. So we will start with plan. And plan has to do with setting goals. And it's not about putting a goal like, I will make my LC relevant or I will dedicate time to faculty, because this is not enough goal. And you know what a real goal is, because this you cannot measure, and how can you actually realize if you're actually putting more time in faculty or making your LC more relevant? So what you need to work on is on your SMART goals. And this is for everything that you have in your life, and not only when we do the LC planning, but also with everything that you have in your life. And the SMART goals is that it has to be something specific and not randomly. You need to be able to measure it. You need to feel that you can achieve it, that is something that you really believe in, something that is actually relevant for you, and you have to put a time and when you're going to achieve it and when it's going to happen, because if not, you will not know when this has to happen or how I'm going to achieve it. And for these goals, so the example would be like, I'm not going to make my LC relevant. Yeah, this is a wish, but it's not an actual goal. And the goal would be like, I will make my LC achieve this percentage of growth with this amount of members by this month. And then you need to put and make this goal in smaller pieces. So what needs to happen actually weekly in order to achieve this? Maybe you can see this like in an easier way, because when we do planning, we actually plan like this. But you also need to put these goals in the rest of your life. So for example, I will dedicate time to my faculty. No, you need to put more clear things. So I will pass this exam of whatever by this time. So then what needs to happen weekly? And then you divide it and you put it in smaller goals. And then you say like, okay, this week I should do and read this amount of pages or this amount of chapters or handing this amount of papers or whatever you need to do, and how much time are you going to spend on that. So you calculate more or less like, okay, 1 hour, 2 hours, or whatever time you're going to dedicate weekly to the faculty. So you actually need to be able to measure the things to become like real goals, and not something like, because if not, you will never dedicate more time for faculty, or you won't even know like how much time are you actually putting on that. And this way you can also analyze like, okay, so I dedicated like this amount of hours to faculty this week. Was it useful? Like, what are the results that I got? Should I dedicate more hours, less hours? So then you're actually evaluating how was your productivity and if you actually need to put more or less time in that activity. Second thing is to prioritize. So once you have like all the list of the things that you need to do, you need to put priorities to the thing. And there is a cool tool that I will show you later about that. But this mainly is for you to think like what needs to be my focus today, and what needs to be my focus this week, this month, this quarter. So here is super important that you define very clearly that, okay, this quarter this needs to happen, this month this needs to happen, and this week this. So where am I putting my energy today? Because a lot of times we think that, oh my god, I have to do so many things, and we get lost in the amount of things that we need to do when we actually have certain priorities that need to be done. And this is something that I always say, and is that if something needs to happen like next semester, I won't have to be like getting crazy about it. So tomorrow, la flor de mañana se preocupará de eso. Because a lot of times I was worrying about things that needed to happen like later. And there was no sense, because I was putting a lot of energy in my mind and a lot of stress in something that I couldn't do anything about it today. So when you plan it, and you know exactly when this will be fixed, when this will be done, then you don't need to worry today, because you know that this will happen next Friday at 10 a.m. I will take care of this. So then you don't have like 1,000 things on your mind, but actually the things that need to happen in that moment, in that week. And finally, put in action. And here comes the challenge. Because in ISEC we love doing the plans, we love having everything super organized, but then the challenge comes when we actually have to implement things. So this is the most important, and this is the key of everything, and it's consistency. What does that mean? That if you want to be on shape and you decide to start the gym, if you go one day and you kill yourself and you're exhausted by the end of the day because you were 9 hours in the gym, but you do it once, then you're not getting in shape. But then if you go every day for 20 minutes, then you actually are getting in shape. So the key of everything is to be consistent in what you're doing. And once you have your plan, and once you know everything that needs to happen, and you know what has to happen first and what has to happen second and third, then you actually need to be consistent. And if you say and you plan that you're going to do this for this amount of time, then just go and do it. Because the main problem here is that we actually don't implement these things, and it's about like doing it every day, that we can actually get results and feel that we are more productive. And actually 20 minutes is not that much. If you think about it, it doesn't mean you're going to be exhausted and dying. And the same with like ISET tasks that we need to fulfill, or even with studies. So if you split it during the days and you put like less amount, because actually you cannot concentrate for that long, so you need to put some breaks on it. It will be even easier to fulfill, and you will not feel exhausted, and you will actually be achieving your goals. There are some tools that are really useful that I've tried and I've used, and they're super useful. And this one is our lovely friend calendar, so you know it. But some things that I give use to calendar is that I put different colors to the things, because this can actually make me analyze in what I'm putting more attention. So if blue is one of the tasks that I need to do, then the green is for the LCP thing, and the pink is for like personal stuff. So then you can actually realize in what are you putting like more time during the week, and if something else needs more attention. And this way you need to make sure that whatever you put there, you put the amount of time, and try to be very honest in the amount of time that this will take. Because sometimes they're like, I will do it here in half an hour, and then it will not take half an hour. Or the meetings, or the amount of time you need to study. Okay, like make sure that that is the amount of time that you're taking for that. Consider also the times for resting, the times for having lunch, dinner, the times that it takes to move from one place to another. Because it doesn't make sense that you put like one thing on top of the other, and then you need to consider the time moving from one place to the other. But this way you can actually start measuring and analyzing more where you're putting and spending the time. Another tool that is super useful for me is the urgent important matrix. And maybe you have heard about it before, but if not, this is about like listing all the tasks and activities that you will do, you have to do, and you should do the next week. And here it's about like all the activities, including like hobbies, including like having a beer with a friend, including studying, ISEC meetings, ISEC tasks, ISEC, like all the stuff that you have to do, everything, and be as specific as possible. And then what you need to do is to divide that activities in the relevant, like how important and relevant these activities are, because there are activities that we have to do, but they're not actually helping us become a better person or achieve our personal goals or this stuff, but are things that we need to do. And then also if these things are urgent because we have a deadline and we need to fulfill it for the next day, or they're not so urgent and are actually happening in our week. So then you will have like different things, and here I put some examples so you can guide yourself better. So for example, we have things that are not important and are not urgent, as for example being in social media, because we all spend time there. And I would suggest you that when you, for example, enter social media like Facebook, Instagram, whatever social media you use, to check the time that you enter and then check the time when you leave. And you will realize like how much time you're spending there just watching stories of people or whatever you're doing there. Or watch a series or Operación Triunfo or whatever, or internet surfing, because a lot of times we start doing something and then the browser like takes us to, oh my god, like whatever you're searching. And these are things that are like not important and they're not actually urgent. Then you have the things that are not important but they're actually urgent, like for example take a phone call. You need to take the phone call in the moment. And I put personal examples, okay, because I receive phone calls like for the work, or when you have like unproductive meetings or unplanned meetings and somebody reaches and says like, hey, can we talk for a second, well, I need to solve this and that, and then it's taking your time, that we need to consider also. Or for example, go for grocery, buy things, cleaning the house. And I know that on Tuesday I have to clean the house from this time to this time. So it's something that is not important because it's actually not affecting my professional personal goals, but are things that I know that they will happen and they have a deadline and I need to clean on Tuesday. And I know that it needs to happen. Then we have things that are urgent and important. And these are the things that, for example, finish a task because I have a deadline and I have to do it. So, for example, I need to hand in this paper tomorrow, or I need to fulfill this tool, or I need to subscribe for Brinko because applications are closing, whatever. Or, for example, enter to Expa and contact the applicants because I cannot wait, like they cannot be waiting there for more than 24 hours. And these are also very important things because they are connected with the work that I'm doing. They are connected with my faculty. They are connected with whatever things. And it's actually when we know that it has a deadline and it's coming super soon. So it's this week, like tomorrow, next weekend. And then there are the important things that actually are not urgent, you know. So, for example, I know that I have to create the visa procedure for Spain, but these people are coming in February, so they have like 3 months to do it, or in May, whatever. So it's not something that I need to do tomorrow because it has a deadline tomorrow. Or, for example, I know that I need to hand in our work for faculty in the next 2 months, and I know it will take me a lot of time, but it's not something urgent that the deadline is tomorrow. Also, having a beer with a friend or going for my dance classes because they make me feel like super happy and super amazing. So check like what are the things. Of course, there are many, like much more examples, but what I wanted you to see it like very, very easy with examples, like from my life. And the things that are not important and are not urgent are actually distractions, which we need in our lives because it's good to have a break, but they are healthy when we measure the doses. Okay, so it's not healthy to be 2 or 3 hours in social media, but if we take like 15-20 minutes just to chill for a while, it's good, it makes us feel good, but they are actually distractions. Then the things that are not important but they're urgent are interruptions, actually, because probably these things are important for somebody else, the person that is calling you, the person that is asking you for help for something, but are interruptions because they are not 100% connected with the things that we need to do and are in our personal goals. So how do we feel when we are a lot of time in this quadrant? We feel that we're not achieving much. We feel that we're not getting anywhere because we are being interrupted all the time, and we like, where is my time going, you know? Because you spend a lot of time in these things that are not planned. So yeah, no. Then we have the things that are important and then urgent, and these are actually the firefighting and the deadlines. And when we spend all our time, and I used to be this person, we feel that we are working under pressure, that we are stressed, that we need a rest from life, that we want to give up everything, that we are like dying, because we are all the time firefighting, and feeling the pressure that things need to get done like right now. And the way of not getting into that quadrant is to actually don't leave the things for the last minute and plan the things. So what we were saying before, put the goals, plan them, and then make them happen. And the best quadrant of all are the things that are important and they're not urgent, because this is our magic quadrant, and this is a big picture, because these are the things that are actually helping us to reach our personal and professional goals. And when we are most of the time in this quadrant, because we planned when things are supposed to happen, we feel calmer and we feel under control, and we are able to enjoy everything we're doing, because we don't have to be stressing up because we have the deadline that is like hitting on us, but we actually know when things are going to happen. So my recommendation and what you need to do is the things that are not important and are not urgent, just measure when it's going to happen and just be conscious. Be conscious, and when you're going to be in social media, okay, I'm going to be in social media and I will take these 15 amazing minutes to be here. But be conscious of that and don't make it like an interruption and all the time like coming and going. The things that are not important but are urgent, like see the things that you can actually delegate, because especially when you're LCP, you're doing a lot of tasks that you are not supposed to, and that maybe your VP should do or your member or team leader should do. So make sure that you're doing actually what's on your role and what are the things that you can actually delegate, or the things that somebody else did that you can use instead of creating something new. And also I would suggest you to challenge your regular activities. So analyze the whole week and where are you putting time, and challenge these things of your regular activities, because probably you're spending a lot of time in things that are not being like really productive. So check these things. The things that are very important but are not urgent, like plan when to do them, because if I leave for the last minute the job for the faculty that the deadline is in 2 months, it will become something urgent and important, and we don't want that. So you just need to figure out when you're going to do it. So if I know that, for example, I have a trip the next week where the deadline is, I know I will not be able to do it, so I should plan it and divide it in the previous week, and then I will be calm and beautiful because I can do everything. The things that are urgent and important, like do them right now so you can get rid of them, and try to plan everything so you don't have a big list of urgent and important things, because this is the main problem. When we create the list and we put them in the quadrants, most of the things are urgent and important, and this shouldn't be this way. So when we set the goals with time and everything, we will not have a lot of things there. And the most effective people spend 80% of their time in quadrant 2 of important and not urgent in the matrix, these things that they plan the things. And when you plan, you actually also need to see where are you going to put this 20% of your effort in order to have the 80% of the reward and the achievement. So this is about challenging your regular activities and seeing like, okay, where I'm actually putting the efforts and what is actually giving me results. And other tool that can help you, so I really recommend you to use this tool, because also when you do it and it becomes a habit, you will not have to write it down and put it in the matrix, but you can actually figure out in the moment when you're stressing because you feel that you have 1,000 things, like, okay, wait, is this urgent or is not urgent? Is this important or not? And when you set like goals for long term, you can also know where you're going to put them and actually make them happen, because then if not, the long term things never happen in your life. Another very interesting thing is Pomodoro, which is a tool that is very cool, and it works. You can download it. It's an app that you download in your browser. And what does it mean? Pomodoro is a technique that somebody invented, and the thing is that you have like periods and intervals of 25 minutes of work and then 5-minute break, because they say that your attention is super intense like during these 25 minutes, and then you give it a break for 5 minutes. In the app, when you put it and you turn on the Pomodoro, it doesn't let you open any other browser or thing for that 25 minutes. So it's actually very cool, because if you don't have a lot of will, you just keep your phone very far away from you, and when you're doing something in your laptop, like, just turn it on, and it's super cool. And then it gives you the 5-minute break, so you can browse, you can do whatever, go to the toilet, go and eat something, whatever you need to do. And after the 4 successful Pomodoros, that is a period of 2 hours, then you have 15 and 20 minutes break. Like, it's a longer break that your brain needs. It's a technique that was proved that is super efficient and makes people more productive. And I started using it with the app, and now for me it's automatically. So I need to finish a task, and I say, like, okay, I will be this half hour, 25 minutes doing it. Maybe if you're super concentrated, you will not need to do these 5-minute breaks after 25 minutes, but that will depend on you. But it's about regulating, like, how you're putting your focus, and it's actually super cool. And then you take this longer break. I prepare the mate, blah blah blah, and it actually makes you full focus in one thing at a time. And finally, I have this other tool that I can give you, that is a personal productivity test, because, as I told you, each person is productive in a different way. Not all of us are productive in the same way, and some tools for us are more useful than others. So this can actually help you. And this is the link, so you can enter. It's bit.ly personal productivity. You will see it is super cool, and it will give you some results on what is your personal productivity style, and they will also recommend you some tools that you can use, like, oh, if you are this type of person, then you can do this and do that. So if you want, like, you can use it. It's super cool. And the final tip that I want to give you is to be self-aware and know what time of the day you are most productive. And it's something that most of the people, like, I just realized this, like, very late, so it's better if you do it now. So some people have their peak of productivity during the morning, and are these morning people. So for me, if I have to do something super important that I know it will require a lot of focus, I put it in the morning, like, especially between like 9 and 11, it's my peak of productivity. But some people are super productive at night. So you need to realize and know yourself better. When are you being more productive? Because, for example, if I put something that requires a lot of focus at night, it will take me double time to finish it, because I cannot concentrate anymore. So you can also realize which is the time of the day that you're more productive, in order to organize yourself better and put the tasks accordingly. So this was it. Thank you very much. I hope it was useful. And now it's time to be the most productive LCPs in history. And if you have further questions, you can always approach me. Thank you very much.